What's up? What is happening? Welcome to another episode of Respect the Court. And first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving. Recording a little late over here. It's about 9:51 p.m. West Coast time. But yes, again, happy Thanksgiving. Uh, Great time to give thanks, even if you don't celebrate it. Just take a moment to just be grateful and be thankful for everything and anything. Uh, yeah, because it's rough out there for a lot of people. So let's just take this moment to be thankful for the many things, the little things, all the things, right? So yeah, let's definitely remember that as we now officially kick off the holiday season. So yeah, we're here, November. We have NBA, we got NFL, we have NHL, we have basketball, college level, like high school, it's there. And one thing I remember, it just dawned on me, with the NFL games today. I was like, what's what always made great competition, like a great competitive sporting event. For me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, was having a good rivalry. You know, like a true tested year after year, in some cases decade after decade rivalry. Now, I don't mean rivalry to the point where it's necessarily bad blood, where you would literally kill each other on the streets if y'all were out in the street clothes. But I mean just highly contested, lots of emotion, lots of angst and animosity, but you still play to win. You're not playing to hurt each other, but you're playing to win. Like that kind of rivalry where you have bragging rights. It didn't matter if it was a county game, a city game, statewide, didn't matter. Or even if it was a divisional, like you wanted to make sure that this is the team that you had to beat year in and year out. You know, I remember back in like the high school day, like even in high school, right? Like there's always like that one school you just had to beat. They're like your crosstown rivals, right? It was like, oh, I don't know, I can't even think of anything at the high school level, but I don't know because I live out here in the East Bay. You'd be like De La Salle versus like Acalanes or something like that, like something where it was just like I'm not saying they were rivals. I have no idea, but it was out there like certain high schools where you had to beat your crosstown rivals or something like that. And then of course you had college level. Like oh my goodness, so many great college rivalries. Like we already know, one of the best was and still is Duke and UNC. Like I remember watching those even when I was in my 20s, and they were always fun to watch. Like it was always highly contested, lots of emotion, and it's great. It was just fantastic. And the thing that you have to take into consideration with a rivalry is there is some amount of history involved with it, right? Whether it's history with the coaching, whether it's a history with the franchises, someone did somebody wrong, or maybe the player was traded from one to another and wanted to get back, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it's like the fans themselves have always been hostile with each other. I know one great rivalry in MLB is the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry, I said Detroit Lions. My bad, my bad. The Detroit Tigers and the Chicago White Sox. Fierce rivalry in Major League Baseball. I don't know necessarily why. I'm not a baseball expert, so I'm not gonna get into that. You want to know about it? Go look it up, find out about it. But there it is. I mean, true, genuine rivalries really are the spice. They're the zest. They're the flavor. They're the flavor of competitive sports. And for me, I feel like the NBA is truly missing some classic rivalries. So much so that I feel the need to point out some rivalries from yesteryear and just point out that that is the reason I feel that maybe the NBA doesn't have quite the ratings numbers as it would like to have. I mean, you got to have good rivalries. I mean, all across sports, as I mentioned earlier, like you had MLB, you In the NFL, you got like, my gosh, you got the Eagles and the Cowboys, right? Rivalry for forever. You had the Colts and the Titans. You had the Steelers and the Ravens, and not just like within the last 5 or 10 years. I'm talking like maybe 20, 25 years or even more for some cases. Again, I'm not an NFL expert, so I'm not going to talk on rivalries like that in terms of the NFL. Right? Even the Premier League, you had Arsenal and Chelsea. You had Manchester United. You have Liverpool. And people are passionate about their teams. So much so that, like, I mean, you go to certain stadiums, if you're wearing the opposing team's jersey and you sit in the wrong area of the stands, like, there's going to be some issues. It's that deep. It cuts that deep. So that is what's missing from the NBA. Like, a good, solid rivalry. Hey, I mean, come on now. Even the WWE, WCW back in the day, you had Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. I mean, you had Kane and Undertaker, great rivalries. You had, oh my goodness. You had Shawn Michaels, all right? Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. For me, that was probably the top rivalry. So much so it spilled into personal life. Come on now, you can't make that up, even if you want to call it scripted or not. That was real. Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. I mean, rivalry above rivalry. That was the rivalry in WWE. Anyway, I mean, hold on. Wait, I can't go on without even saying this. Sting and Ric Flair. Come on. Come on. Rivalries. Again, it's the zest. It is the flavor. It is the spice that is needed in sports because that's what keeps us coming back. It's the drama. It's the anticipation of what's going to happen. Like, how are these guys going to react to each other when they finally meet each other after however many weeks, months of, like, be it trash talk or from the last playoff run and how things went sour. You never know, and that's what's so great about it. So for me, I'm going to list my 3 favorite NBA rivalries in my time. I'm not going to go all the way back to the 70s or 80s. I know there were some great rivalries back then, but I'm going to focus on the stuff that I remember when I was still watching NBA heavily. I mean, of course, you got the Boston Celtics and Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, that's basically what held the NBA together in the 80s. A little bit in the 70s, but definitely throughout the 80s and the 90s, it was Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, Bird, Magic, James Worthy, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale. I can keep going. I can keep naming, but just the rivalry between these two teams was unprecedented. It was fantastic. I mean, it made the game fun to watch because you knew they took it seriously. I think I remember hearing that Larry Bird at one point would circle on the calendar the 2 days of the year that he knew that he was facing the Lakers because it meant that much to him. And if it meant that much to him, definitely meant that much to the fans because they knew they were in for a treat. And that's all we ever want. We want good competition. Great competition. All right? We also have, I know I'm skipping ahead right here, but I'm sorry. I don't care. We had the Los Angeles Lakers once again and the Detroit Pistons. And this goes back to the 80s where you had Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, John Sally, Rick Mahorn, Bad Boy Pistons, Showtime Lakers. And I think people tend to forget this. The 3 times that the Lakers and Pistons played, the Pistons won those NBA championships. All right? 2 out of 1. I mean, sorry, not 2 out of 1. 2 out of the 3 times they played. Oh, yeah. You got 1988, 1989, and 2004. 2004, I think we all remember. Detroit won that one, 4-1. 89, the Pistons won and swept the Lakers 4-0. Lakers won the first one, 1988. So, You had history. And you had a little bit of bad blood with Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. Again, zest, spice. That's what you need in competition. I mean, again, not to hurt anybody, but you want to play. And you want to be the best. You want to do everything that you can to win. Another one of my favorites was the Heat and the Knicks back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That was a fun rivalry. And that was back when, bodies in the paint, banging down low. It was fun to see. Incredible. Fun times. Patrick Ewing. One of my favorite centers. Playing with Allen Houston, Charlie Ward, and then later on, Latrell Sprewell. And of course, I can't forget John Starks. But yeah, great rivalry. Great rivalry. And of course, the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Another great rivalry. Who could forget Reggie Miller and the infamous choke? I mean, that goes down in sports history, man. When you do the choke gesture, knowing that the other team had the opportunity to win and y'all blew it, don't tell me there's not a rivalry because of that. Beautiful rivalry. I mean, I can go on and on. They also had, maybe not as big, but it's a rivalry more for like California. You had your Lakers, you had your Warriors, you had your Mavericks, you had your Rockets, your Spurs, your Mavericks, your Spurs. In-state rivalries. It's just like, no, we're the best team in Texas. We got this. Lakers and Spurs, back with Duncan, Parker and Ginobili, Shaq, Kobe, Derek Fisher, Robert Horry. Those were some great rivalries because you had two great basketball teams, two great basketball coaches, and two teams that just wanted to beat the heck out of each other. And of course, how can I forget the Kings and the Lakers of the late 90s, early 2000s? That was an incredible rivalry. Again, Northern California versus Southern California, but to this day, you talk to Sacramento King fans about that, and it still leaves a sour taste. But it was a bitter rivalry. Those two teams did not like each other. Again, you had the Shaq, Kobe, and you had Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Jason Williams at first, and then he was gone. And you had Mike Bibby, Doug Christie, Peja. That was a fun team. Fun team to watch. And, I ain't gonna lie. I wanted them to beat the Lakers because, we're out here in Northern California. It was always beat LA. But there it was. So, if you want the NBA ratings to improve, you need to have quality competition, guys that want to compete. And above all else, you need to have teams that actually care about beating each other. Teams that say, like, look, we may not win the playoffs, but we're definitely going to be better than this team in our state or this team in our city, whatever the case may be. You need to have rivalries. All right? Not to say I got to hate each other, but like competition. This is what people are complaining about. This is what fans are complaining about. Where's the competition? Y'all getting paid millions of dollars, but we don't feel the competitive fire. We don't see the competitive edge. We don't see that zest, that desire to eradicate every team that comes into your house. I don't know. Can't tell you. But as a basketball fan, you do the best you can to find some competition somewhere to watch. And I'll find it. Maybe I'll go back and watch college basketball some more. Those kids work hard and they deserve every bit of recognition for what they do on the court. We'll see. Maybe the NBA will pick it up by then. Maybe there will be some rivalries. Maybe there will be some teams that care and really want to let people know that, we're coming through. And we ain't losing you all. We don't care. Anyhow, happy Thanksgiving once again to you all. Enjoy. I'll catch you on the next one. Be safe out there. And yeah, we are in the holiday season. Here we go. Fa la 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 la. All right. Until the next one. This is Respect the Court. Peace.